This is the Chamber Chat Podcast, the show dedicated to chamber professionals to spark ideas and to get actionable tips and strategies to better serve your members and community. Hello, Chamber Champions. Welcome to Chamber Chat Podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Burton, and it's my goal here on the podcast to introduce you to people and ideas to better help you serve your chamber members and your community. Our title sponsor for this episode is Bringing Local Back. Remember when your community could turn to a local TV station or newspaper for the latest updates and affordable ads? Those days may be fading, but the need for local connection remains. That's why we created Bringing Local Back, a game-changing platform that restores local visibility and advertising power to your community. It's more than just tech. It's about driving engagement and creating new revenue for your chamber. Ready to see the future? Visit bringinglocalback.com to schedule your demo today. This is the future of local commerce. Our guest for this episode is Sharon Mason. Sharon is the president and CEO of the Cobb Chamber of Commerce. With more than 22 years of chamber and nonprofit leadership experience, Sharon has led 6 positions at the Cobb Chamber and serves on numerous regional and state boards. Under her leadership, she's been recognized as one of Georgia's most influential leaders, earning spots on Georgia's Trends Top 100 Most Influential Georgians list and Atlanta's 500's Most Influential list. Sharon is passionate about economic development, community engagement, and strategic leadership. But Sharon, I'm excited to have you with us today here on Chamber Chat Podcast. I'd love to give you an opportunity to say hello to all the chamber champions who are out there listening and to share something interesting about yourself so we can all get to know you a little better.
Well, Brandon, it is great to be with you. Hello, everyone. I'm honored to be part of the show. Thank you for doing this. I think this is a fantastic resource for other chambers. And yes, I have enjoyed being in the chamber industry. And actually, my story that I want to share, my interesting fact, is from my previous chamber at the Birmingham Regional Chamber. They've had a couple of different names since then, but when I was there in the early 2000s, it was the Birmingham Regional Chamber. And at that point, we were moving from business fairs, moving from a couple of days business fairs to a half day or a full day business fair. And we wanted to really focus on small business. So I got to meet Mini-Me, if you remember him from Austin Powers. And that was so much fun. And unfortunately, he has now passed away, but I had that honor of meeting him during that time to be part of our mini business fair, focus on small business. Actually, Compass Bank at the time gave away a Mini Cooper, and he signed it. So Mini-Me signed autographs, and it was so much fun. I really enjoyed that. And actually, Blockbuster was our presenting sponsor. So that was might date me a little bit. But
that dates it a little bit, right?
Yes, but that was such a great memory of innovation. We were trying to figure out how to move towards a different type of business fair and really meet a different audience. And it was an honor to work for Tom Cosby, who was COO there, and Dave Atkinson, who went to be the CEO of the Kentucky Chamber. 2 great mentors of mine that I have learned so much from and over the years and still stay in contact with. I actually saw Dave at the ACCE, the American Chamber of Commerce Executives session this past summer, and he's phenomenal. And I learned so much, but that was a fun memory, and just getting to meet Mini-Me was phenomenal. But I know for me, I have loved the chamber industry since 2002 is when I started the Birmingham Chamber. And the reason I love it so much is we get to make a tremendous impact and tremendous difference. And every day is different. It is a very fast-moving, fast-paced environment, but we get to really move the needle and drive such positive growth and positive change. And I have just loved every minute of it. It's a joy and a privilege to serve in this role.
Yeah. I was going to ask if you were in Birmingham when Dave was there. He's one of the greatest. So Dave is awesome.
He's phenomenal. And he wrote a great book. I've got it in my office here. And
right up here. Yep.
Yep.
And extra copies to give away. So.
Oh, yes. And really has helped with that strategic focus. He was and continues to be a fantastic mentor to me.
Absolutely. So I love doing this podcast because, you know, the Kevin Bacon game, right? Where it's like 7 degrees of like you can get to Kevin Bacon. Well, I see social media posts and stuff and hear stories like yours with Mini-Me. And, you know, I'm seeing people, chamber execs that are sitting with governors and meeting with presidents, like pretty cool stuff. I'm like, hey, I know that person who knows that person. And, so that degrees of separation gets very small, but it's a fun, small world in the chamber
It
world.
really is. Absolutely.
Well, tell us a little bit about the Cobb Chamber, just to kind of set the stage for our discussion today. Size, staff, scope of work, budget, just to give
Sure.
us that perspective.
So Cobb County is Metro Atlanta area. We like to call it Atlanta's sweet spot. It is home to the Atlanta Braves. As of 2017, we played an instrumental role in that and the entire Braves development. Also home to many great headquarters, some that have been here for many years, like the Home Depot and Genuine Parts and Racetrack, that we've continued to help grow, as well as many that we brought here to Cobb County, like Papa John's global headquarters, TK Elevator, their North American headquarters, and so many more. And we have many other types of businesses, small businesses, but we have over 800,000 citizens. So we're one of the largest counties in Metro Atlanta. We're also one of the largest chambers across the country. We have 33 staff. We have now grown our revenue and budget to over 7 million. I remember when I first started the Cobb Chamber, we we're about at 3 million. So we've had a
Wow.
significant growth here. This is my 20th year at the Cobb Chamber because
Congratulations.
I moved from Birmingham, my husband and I, in 2005 for his job. But actually, Georgia is home for me. My good friend Nick Messino likes to call me export from Gwinnett County. So that's where I'm originally from Snellville. And they're a great chamber, a great partner chamber. We do a lot of great work together. And that's important for all of us in the chamber industry to work with so many locally, regionally, across the country and share ideas and best practices. And ACCE has been a fantastic resource. I highly encourage chamber executives to be part of that. I have gotten so much insight, relationships, or I can just call on other chamber CEOs, and they have a great group pairing where they'll pair you with other chambers your size. But I do feel like at the Cobb Chamber, now being my 20th year, I've worked at 4 different organizations because we have seen such transformational growth every stage. And at the center of that, the Cobb Chamber has been driving that growth and been a major champion for this community. And it's just been an honor to be part of that.
Well, that's a great segue into our topic today of workforce and economic development. And we'll dive in deeper on that and how you guys are making that approach in Cobb County as soon as we get back from this quick break.
Hi, I'm Joe.
And I'm Rose.
And we're the founders of App My Community, a mobile app that can be customized to meet the unique needs of your Chamber of Commerce.
When we started App My Community, we envisioned a tool that would help communities thrive by simplifying communication and enhancing engagement. Chambers of Commerce face unique challenges, and we're here to help you tackle them.
App My Community helps the Evergreen Area Chamber of Commerce to create an app that keeps tourists informed even when their office is closed. They provide 24/7 access to local business information, which helps support the local economy and community engagement.
In Rocky Mountain House, we helped Rocky Chamber create an app with dynamic itineraries and digital resources for tourists, increasing local business engagement. The app has become an essential tool for the community, promoting events and boosting visibility for local merchants.
Today, we empower more than 200 chambers of commerce, campgrounds, and RV resorts to streamline communication, informing members about events, sharing business updates, and providing a digital hub for the community, all in one convenient app.
When you partner with App My Community, our team works closely with you to create an app that meets your chamber's unique needs. As your community grows, our app evolves with you. We are here to ensure you engage effectively with your members and streamline your operations.
Schedule a demo today at appmycommunity.com.
We can't wait to meet you.
Chamber leaders, I know each of you works daily to boost your local economy and take your Chamber of Commerce to the next level. But let's face it, it takes funding, and lots of it. You need to know Resource Development Group. For 3 decades, they have been the premier economic development fundraising consulting firm dedicated to helping chambers of commerce and economic development organizations like yours thrive across the United States. Their expert team specializes in crafting customized fundraising strategies that drive tangible results so you'll be able to fully implement your community advancement and economic development strategies. Imagine having a partner who strives to understand your community's unique needs, brings national best practices to bear, and has the proven experience to secure millions of dollars in funding. Resource Development Group has successfully guided countless chambers of commerce in creating vibrant, sustainable economies. With their comprehensive suite of services, from campaign planning and execution to investor engagement management to best practice studies, RDG takes the guesswork out of fundraising. You'll receive personalized support and innovative solutions that make a real impact. Don't just take my word for it. Chambers of Commerce and EDO executives nationwide have praised RDG for their dedication, professionalism, and impressive track record of raising over $2 billion for their clients. Ready to see what Resource Development Group can do for your chamber? Visit them at rdgfundraising.com to learn more. Elevate your community, strengthen your chamber, and unlock new possibilities with Resource Development Group by your side. They build organizations that build communities. All right, Sharon, we're back. As I mentioned before the break, today we're talking about workforce and economic development. What's some of the approaches you guys are taking and see that's led to some of the big successes that you talked about as we started this show?
So I'll tell you a little bit of our history. So before the Great Recession, before that 2010 time period, we were all trying to focus on recovery. Georgia didn't fare as well in the Great Recession in that time period. And we really focused working with the state, Georgia Department of Economic Development, to be that great place for business. Now, Georgia's been named 11 years in a row by Area Development Magazine as top state for business. And a big reason for that is the intentional focus at the state level and that challenge to each of our local communities to have that single point of contact and really elevate and amplify what we're doing in the economic development area. And also coming out of the recession, we saw, many businesses suffering and knew that we needed to step up our game, quite frankly. And we were probably growing as a community. Cobb County, I remember in our annual dinner speeches, we might say, "Oh, we brought in, 500 new jobs this year," and thought that was
those
a
are
good
big wins at the time, right?
But then we started comparing notes of other communities our size and said, you know what, we really need to be a lot higher than that for where we are as a community, and also knew that we needed to diversify our economy more and our industries and focus on our target industries that we do well, but also emerging industries and focus more on headquarters and then all the aspects that impact job creation. So it was a 2-year process, and we worked with some great people throughout that process that helped us focus and helped us figure out who we are as a community and how to better tell that story. And then all the areas that we're doing well, that we needed to better tell that story, but then all the areas that we needed to grow. And so from that, we started Select Cobb. And that started in 2012. And I remember our goal was, we said, okay, if we can bring in 7,500 new jobs in 5 years, that'll be fantastic. And now, 13 years later, I'm very proud to say we brought in over 46,000 high quality jobs from the Select Cobb initiative. We have driven, and just what our Select Cobb team, working with all our partners, we've driven over $6.3 billion in private new investment through recruiting or helping existing companies expand, of over almost 300 companies that we've helped across all geographic areas of Cobb. And we've really grown our headquarters. I mentioned a few of them talking about Cobb County. We've also grown several target industries and seen major growth in advanced manufacturing and fintech, biotech, technology as a whole, as well as logistics, construction and trade, and so many other major emerging industries. And so we've been able to grow substantially. But from that Select Cobb, we also focused on, okay, how do we tell our story? We want to get in front of the site selectors, work even more with state Georgia Department of Economic Development, our other neighboring chambers, because a lot of people think of Atlanta as a whole. And we know that if they land anywhere in Metro Atlanta or anywhere in the state of Georgia, the entire state benefits. And so we really wanted to team up and partner more with other chambers. So we really expanded our focus there. And then we also focused on not just the business recruitment, but the business retention and helping our existing industry. So we had to launch an entire existing industry program that checked on businesses, especially intentionally ahead of lease expirations. That was very important to make sure we stayed well ahead of that. But also, we partnered with our local municipalities and our county government and our CIDs and many others on conducting business walks. And we would set those in advance. We wouldn't just stop by a business unannounced, but we would set up appointments in advance and divide up in teams and make sure we met with as many companies as possible. And we sit down and meet with them about what are your challenges? How can we help? And that helped us better understand what they needed and helped us tackle that together as a community. And then we launched many other initiatives, Cobb Workforce Partnership, working with K through 12 and higher ed. There's a lot under that umbrella that we've launched and focused on to be much more intentional around both short-term and long-term workforce and talent development. That is a key driver for our economic growth. And then we focus on many other aspects of international companies. How do we make sure we better support them and have a more intentional strategy there? Entrepreneurship to truly develop that ecosystem, and overall community support for our schools, for public safety, for quality of life initiatives as a whole. So we really amplified all of those areas to help us better recruit and retain companies, and the results speak for themselves. But I will say, in the midst of that, one of the big driving factors for us was such an honor for me, really of a lifetime, to have been part of this. But the Atlanta Braves were wanting to figure out and be closer to their fan base, and also develop the land around the stadium and truly have a whole mini city, if you will, of really showcasing all the great things. And so they made a decision about their location, and they moved to Cobb County in the Cumberland CID area. And it gave us a tremendous opportunity to help them with this. And they announced this in 2013. We were able to help them really every step of the way. And it was a perfect location for them, right in the center where 285 and 75 interstate meet, and easy for fans to get to. But then they were able to develop all the land around it. This is called the Battery Atlanta now, and help us bring even more headquarters to this area. So it's been a fantastic partnership, and it's well exceeded any of our expectations, where last year we had 10.3 million visitors come to the Battery. And it's been just fueling. It has been an economic boom and fueling our economy in such a major way, not just for the Cumberland area in Cobb County, but really our entire county and our entire state. It's driving even more revenue to the state. That's been tremendous. And so we've been proud to support them since day one in 2013. And that's been a big part of our transformation as well.
I love that huge success story with the Atlanta Braves. And that's one thing I wish we could see with more professional stadiums. You know, in some markets I've seen where they'll settle on a location and it's in the middle of an industrial district. And it's like, well, if people come to the games, they're not spending extra money in your city. I mean, maybe for the owners of the stadium, like they want you spending money on, $12 hot dogs or whatever inside.
Right.
But to have an entertainment district around it and, just really an environment to drive the economy is such a huge opportunity. And I'm glad to see you guys have been able to capitalize on that.
Absolutely. It's been a game changer for us. And Mike Plant, who's the Braves development president, was our board chairman last year. And he always said it so well, that it was never just about the stadium. It was always about all the area around it. That's how to make it work for that public-private partnership. And it has delivered the results well beyond anyone's expectations. We knew it was going to be a economic boom, but it has been transformational for our community.
That's awesome. So I wanted to go back and dig in a little bit more on, you talked about the recruitment and retaining, especially the retaining part of the businesses in the community, and doing these business walks and learning, what is it that they're looking for, that they need help with. And I see so much value in that, because you're hearing the language that they're speaking that then can be repurposed to attract businesses and to speak to entrepreneurs and overcome challenges that they may see as they try to come to the community. But what are some of the lessons learned as you talk to some of these businesses on the retaining aspect that you've maybe been able to use in the attracting businesses as well?
Yeah, a lot of great lessons learned and takeaways. I tell you, the more we can listen to the businesses and better understand their challenges, the better. And they have been evolving so much since the pandemic. I feel like it moves even faster and changes even more so, because our challenges that we had before pandemic are very different, even 2 years after the pandemic, a couple of years after, and checking in on our business is important. So it's really what we've taken from that. We involved our advocacy team in these walks. I think that was an important lesson learned, because a lot of things we learned there need to go into policy. We need to be forming policy at the local, state, federal levels to make sure that we're making our business environment even more competitive and healthy. We've learned a lot of great things. At one point, we learned that there was some opportunities with our fire marshal's office, and so from that, with permits, we sat down with the fire marshal. So appreciate him. He was so receptive to it, and this was right after pandemic, when there were a lot of national workforce challenges as a whole, and so everybody was dealing with those type of things. And he enhanced his communication and his process to still keep safety first, of course, but to make sure that we're continuing to be that top place for business and continue to be that healthy environment. And we said, hey, how can we help, to the chief fire marshal? And, one of the biggest things was the workforce shortages. So we offered our office and our logistics strength, and our select Cobb team actually helped sign ups once a month. They would sit here for the half day and meet with businesses every 30 minutes. And we would set up all those meetings for them. And they just needed to show up. And so instead of all the drive time between businesses, they were here. We made it a lot easier for them and for the businesses. And we've seen some great results from that. We've been able to help 82 companies just in the last year and a half from that new thing we've been doing. So we've also learned a lot of evolving trends that we're determining our chamber's role and how that feeds into policy as well. So workforce, we heard and have continued to hear what a priority that is. It's a major strength for us, but we need to keep it that way. But housing has come up as more of a challenge for companies, and in particular housing supply, more so in that 300 to 600,000 house range. And so we're looking at how do we partner more with developers and move the needle there. And that's a new evolving trend we've heard. But that, I tell you, the business walks are phenomenal, and they do help you have better insight into what your businesses need and how you can meet those needs.
I love that example with the fire marshal. What a great example of collaboration. I mean, the need was there, the timing was right to be able to sit down, have these conversations, collaborate, solve some problems, and that's what a chamber's there for, right? So
absolutely,
you guys listened and leaned right into it. So anything else as far as the economic and workforce development go, lessons learned or successes that others can benefit from in hearing your approach?
Yes, I think in addition to listening, being ready to change course. And I know pivot became a word many of us didn't like hearing after a pandemic, but we moved in. So Cobb Chamber, we were so excited. We had been in our building for 35 years, and it didn't really have many windows, and served us well. But as a marketer of Cobb County and convener and ones that are driving business growth, we knew we needed a different facility that better aesthetically told our story with windows and views. And so we actually moved right across from Truist Park and the Atlanta Braves Battery and Stadium, overlooking that. And you can see as far as Kennesaw Mountain and all the businesses on one side. The other side, you can see downtown, midtown, as far as the airport and our close proximity to the airport. So it's helped us tell our story. But this is January 2020 when we moved in and thinking, okay, we're going to be hosting so many people this year. And we had to completely change course, as everybody did in March. But one of the things that helped us tremendously was to form a task force so that we had experts from different industries that could help advise us. And that helped us better understand what was happening and challenges people were facing, and then how we could tackle those. So that was our economic recovery task force. From that, we started weekly business recovery webinars. And I know it was so confusing for many businesses, where you had the PPP and the EIDL and, all the alphabet soup of so many things happening. So we'd bring all the experts, the bankers, the lawyers, the small business developments, that are all those folks that helped us. So we had over 20 of those. We also administered small business grants through the CARES Act, over $50 million in small business grants to over 3,500 companies that are
Wow.
100 and less employees. And that, I can't tell you,
Lifesaver.
it was amazing. It was the last quarter of 2020, and I will never forget this. Behind everybody's mask, because everybody's wearing masks at that point, or many people were. And behind the mask, you could just see the joy of folks, because payroll protection had helped many companies during that time, but the second payroll protection wasn't approved until, I believe, December 31st of that year by President Trump. And so many of the in-person businesses, you name it, were really struggling. People decided to cut their own hair and not go to the dentist anymore and not, go out to eat, and so many, and the list goes on for all the in-person services. And so we were able to play that pivotal role to help our business community. We at that time made a lot of our virtual events free just to do that outreach and help. But I think our community really saw us step up in a big way to help. And we had weekly business, in addition to the weekly business recovery webinars, we had weekly leadership webinars about leading in crisis in partnership with KSU, which is a great university here with 47,000 students. They're incredible. And they were helping us get that out to businesses. We had over 500 people sign up every week and attend every week. So it really shows you how much we're helping. And we're helping businesses reopen. We thank Governor Kemp for reopening as early as he did, because that was a key part of Georgia's recovery. And we partnered with Cobb and Douglas Public Health and helped with reopening guidelines of how you can reopen safely and comfortably, where your employees do feel comfortable and know that you're taking care of their health needs as well. And so we were able to help in so many ways. And that's been a huge moment for us. And I think for all of us as chambers, my big challenge is there's going to be so many moments like that where there's so much uncertainty and we're trying to figure it out, and so many challenges. And we have that great opportunity as a Chamber of Commerce to be that convener and be that champion that solves all these different issues for the businesses, and really be that convener that brings everybody together.
Wow. As you're talking about those experiences through 2020, 2021, I could feel my heart rate rising again, like just remembering it all. I'm like, no. but that's what chambers are there for. You guys came through it great, and were there for your business community and really saved businesses. And kudos to you guys. I like asking for all the chamber champions that are out there listening. Is there, as they're trying to take their chamber up to the next level, is there any kind of tip or action item that you would share with them in trying to accomplish that goal?
So I think the listening is important, and doing a listening tour, and more often the better, so you can understand the challenges happening, the challenges that your community is facing, because they've been evolving quicker and more rapidly in recent years. And truly focusing on being that convener that solves issues and focuses on things that people are not going to get in other places. And so we've really been trying to launch new programs that are meeting such a great need. We've launched some great new leadership programs, some new advocacy programs that are phenomenal and helping to have more constructive dialogues across the aisle. And we have such a critical role to play there. And so I think really leaning in to what that is and what your community needs and where you can meet that need, and rallying your leaders to join with you and championing those efforts.
Yeah, I love that. That just the idea of listening, you can learn so much from it, and then develop the programming from there and really be able to see the direction that your chamber needs to go to serve your community.
Absolutely.
As we look to the future of chambers of commerce, and I'm saying this the day as we record this, the day after the New Horizons report is released, but as we look to the future of chambers, how do you see the purpose of chambers going forward?
I think chambers of commerce are more important than ever. In a divided political world, we have such a great role to bring everyone together and focus on driving issues that are key for your community and your state. And I think for us to really lean into innovation is important, and also take advantage of the great resources that organizations like ACCE have because learning from each other, I have gotten so many good best practices from all the different circles I'm in. I know our membership team goes to the membership conferences, the events team goes to the events conferences, and so on for all of their different programs. And I think ACCE has done such a good job of customizing and meeting those needs. And so we followed suit from that of really trying to meet position needs as well. And so our CEO roundtable, we've been growing that. We have over 100 people involved in our 8 different roundtables that are helping CEOs, especially small, mid-sized businesses. But we've also launched some other programs, HR Roundtable, Chief of Staff Roundtable, our Young Professionals mentoring program to really take that to the next level. And so, and then other industry councils also. And so we're seeing that need for us to continue to amplify our return on investment. And a big way we can do that is providing these types of programs that they're not going to get anywhere else.
Yeah. No, I like that. There's so much that chambers can do to uplift and buoy businesses to be stronger. And I like I've heard a lot of chambers do the CEO roundtable, but I like that you guys are doing it for other positions too, like HR and young professionals and things like that. And it makes me think of masterminds, right? The idea of bringing multiple people together and more minds together. You know, the sum of 1 + 2 is greater than 3 when you bring those minds together. So
I agree. And other chambers can help you with best practices. We've gotten some great new programs in our advocacy area from conversations we had this morning. We just had a new Conversations and Democracy program where we had a panel of Republicans and Democrats talking about how to work better together across the aisle. And it was phenomenal. And the room was packed. And so we're continuing to look at what we can do to innovate, but also meet those needs that our business community really needs us to champion.
Right. Well, Sharon, this has been great having you on the podcast. I wanted to give you an opportunity to share any contact information for listeners who may want to reach out and connect and learn more about how you guys are approaching things there in Cobb County. What would be the best way for them to reach out and connect with you?
So would love to connect. And I love working with other chambers and sharing ideas with each other. So my email address is smason@cobbchamber.org. And cell phone 404-308-8181. Call me, and I'm happy to help and be a resource, but I'm sure we can be a resource for each other as well. I'm a big believer of that.
Absolutely. We'll get your contact information in our show notes for this episode to make it easy to find. But Sharon, thank you for setting aside some time, amid your busy, economic development and employment development activities going on there in Cobb County to share some of these highlights and lessons with us here on Chamber Chat Podcast. We really appreciate it.
Brandon, thank you for all that you're doing. This is a great resource for chambers and executives, and appreciate your great show.
If you are a chamber professional, please subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast in Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or Spotify. When you subscribe to Chamber Chat Podcast, new episodes will show up in your podcast app each week as they are released. If you're finding value in this podcast, please leave us a rating and a review in iTunes. But most importantly, please share Chamber Chat Podcast with your colleagues that are in the industry.